To attain food security, government and other players in Nigeria's agricultural sector must pay great attention to agricultural mechanization. The second edition of Africa Agric-Machine Equipment and Technology Expo, AMITEX, held in Abuja last week, was part of the efforts to give further impetus to this objective. The idea is to give a clearer picture of what Nigeria needs to do to popularize mechanized agricultural practice beyond the present level. Tonight's episode of the program, Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, will bring you highlights of the event and the impact on the nation's journey towards agricultural mechanization and food security. I am Dihelia Mamza, standing in for your regular host, Gabriel Ojile. Keep watching for details.
Every part of Nigeria has something to offer.
The program begins with news from the diary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. In our lineup, federal government flags of dry season farming in Jigawa State. Also, agric ministers received briefing on projects to reclaim 1 million hectares of degraded land. Details of these and other stories will come your way shortly. Keep watching.
The federal government on Saturday, 25th of November 2023, flagged off the 2023 dry season farming initiative to overcome seasonal limitation of stable food production in Nigeria and ensure food security in the country. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, performed the ceremony in Jigawa State with Wheat Development Project targeted at the cultivation of 70,000 to 100,000 hectares of farmland with expected yields of 400,000 to 500,000 tons of wheat.
Bolstering our economy.
Speaking at the occasion, the Honorable Minister stated that the dry season farming initiative is a $134 million loan facility supported by the African Development Bank, targeted at providing support to farmers to increase production of staple food such as rice, maize, cassava, wheat, among others.
Our farmers remain our most prized assets as a nation, given that they produce the bulk of the food consumed in country. As such, His Excellency Mr. President has charged us to ensure that they are adequately supported to increase their productivity. In this regard, we have set ambitious targets. In wheat alone, we aim to support between 100 and 150,000 farmers with 50% input subsidy to cultivate between 70,000 to 100,000 hectares and an expected yield of 400 to 500,000 tons.
Also speaking at the occasion, the Governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, appreciated the federal government for the support to farmers in Jigawa State and other states where the project would be implemented. The governor added that the 50% support by the federal government amounted to 361,000 naira per hectare, and farmers are to pay 42,125 naira at the point of input collection.
The full package comprises of appropriate mix of fertilizer, inorganic liquid urea, organic fertilizer fortified with booster and growth enhancer, certified wheat seed and herbicides. It is expected that the capacity of over 42,000 farmers will be significantly expanded through their participation in this program.
The Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, directors of the ministry, Jigawa Commissioner of Agriculture, lawmakers and farmers, among others, were part of the crowd that gathered during the flag-off ceremony. The Honorable Minister and Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security have received briefing on the agro-climate resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape Agric-Machine project. The task team leader of Agric-Machine project, Dr. Joy Inganya Ageni, stated that the agroclimate resilience in semi-arid landscape project in Nigeria is targeted at reclaiming 1 million hectares of degraded farmland across the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, within 6 years. Dr. Agine added that the project, which commenced in June 2022, has been able to reclaim 4,000 hectares of degraded land, while it is also working with institutions on policy making, among other deliverables.
The main deliverable is to restore 1 million hectares of degraded land in the northern parts of the country, and to strengthen institutions such as the Ministry for Agric, Environment, Water, Women Resources, the disaster management, and other ministries.
Reacting to the briefing on the project, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, appreciated the team and urged members to scale up efforts to ensure that the target of 1 million hectares is achieved within the 6 years.
Our appreciation on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security for having time to come and address us today and brief us on your program. You have also listened to our comments and concerns, and I hope you would take it upon yourselves to see that those issues are addressed so that we can all move the project forward.
A team of experts from the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria recently paid a courtesy call to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. This is in a bid to further strengthen collaboration in the agriculture sector between Nigeria and the U.S.
Also the potential that the agriculture...
Speaking during the visit, the team leader of the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, David Greens, stated that the U.S. would like to work with Nigeria to realize the potential of Nigeria in the agricultural sector for the mutual benefit of the two countries.
The potential that the agriculture sector holds, as it held in the past, to be a major source of economic growth and job creation for Nigeria, for the region, and quite frankly for the world. Nigeria's economic potential is extraordinary, and we want to help you realize that for the benefit of Nigerians and Americans.
In his response, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, expressed his excitement with the willingness of the U.S. to work with Nigeria towards actualizing food security and sustainability.
One of the key areas that we have observed with American agriculture is the sustainability. You have sustained good agricultural practices and production, and even processing of agricultural produce. And we believe that we can share some of your experiences with us, and which will also strengthen our food security aspect that we have.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in collaboration with other stakeholders, recently organized the 2023 edition of the Africa Agric-Machine Equipment and Technology Expo, AMITEX, to expose Nigeria's farmers and processors to technology and innovations in the agricultural sector. The event also brought together captains of industries and policy makers to chart a way forward in transforming agriculture in Africa. The take-home and highlights of the event is our focus in our next segment. Keep watching.
From 20th to 24th of November 2023, stakeholders in Nigeria's agricultural sector converged at the International Conference Center, Abuja, for the second edition of Africa Agric-Machine Equipment and Technology Expo, AMETEX 2023. The theme of the 2023 edition of the Expo is transforming Africa's agriculture through technology and innovation.
No nation can thrive without food.
The event provided opportunities for stakeholders in the agriculture sector to share ideas and showcase technologies and innovations that could take the Africa agricultural sector and Nigeria in particular to the next level. Speaking at the occasion, the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, who was the host of the event, stated that the event provided opportunities for investors in agricultural machines and equipment to showcase their products and for farmers and processors to have access to cost-effective mechanized equipment, among other benefits.
1. Exposing African farmers to modern farming practices. Increase direct agriculture foreign investment. Create new businesses. Expose African farmers to cost-effective farm machinery and new farming technologies. Exchange of agricultural technological values. Increase in foreign exchange earnings and enhance export of agricultural produce from Africa.
Senator Sabi also stated that the nation's agricultural sector has been under-mechanized for too long, and the present administration is determined to ensure access to capital. Also speaking at the AMETEX 2023, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Ernest Afolabi Omakihe, who was represented by the Director, Special Duties, Fauzat Lawal, stated that the event would change the narrative of using manual labor and give room for the adoption of technologies and innovations that would make Nigeria's agricultural value chain more vibrant.
Over the years, we have continued to use human labor in farm operations, and this has not yielded the required food sufficiency we all desired. Therefore, developing a robust, innovative technology is no doubt critical to our nation's food security. Improvement of all value addition activities, from primary processing to secondary product, should be in tune with international quality standards.
Also speaking during the event, the Director, Federal Department of Agriculture, Engineer Abdullahi Garba Abakar, stated that the event would enhance the productivity of key players in the agricultural sector.
This event is to tell our farmers that there are so many ways you can do farming with ease. The machineries are there for us to use and to increase productivity.
Speaking on adopting new technologies and reaffirmation for enhanced agricultural growth in Africa, the Executive Secretary, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Professor Garba Hamidu Shaributu, stated that the adoption of new technologies and innovations by farmers is very important because manual laborers are no longer available in the villages, and adopting new technologies would not only ease production, but also increase production and prevent rural-urban migration.
Mechanization is very, very important. Labor, for God's sake, is a very, very serious matter, because all the young ones that are out there in the rural areas are either at Mararaba or they are at Lugbe, and what you see them doing now, rather than investing in something serious, they are now selling stickers, they are selling mosquito net, they are selling so many other things. So what I am saying here is that there is a massive movement of youth from the rural areas into the urban areas. So the labor is not just there. And I can tell you, any good farmer will be able to tell you that what they used to cover in a day on a farmland, they cannot cover it now. The farm workers cannot cover it now because they have gone geriatric, They are old, they don't even have the strength to really stay and do some work.
The need for synergy between the federal, state, and the local governments in policy formulation and implementation was also discussed.
When the government of the federation promulgates a policy, the states do not think that they have a responsibility to do that. You may think I am going through politics, but no, I'm trying to drive at something. So the federal government comes up with a policy on fertilizer, policy on extension, but the expectation of the state government and the local government is that since the federal government has the policy, they have a responsibility to come to the federal government to receive whatever fallout of the policy is supposed to be implemented.
The program is transforming agriculture in Nigeria, and we are showcasing the second edition of the Africa Agric-Machine Equipment and Technology Expo, AMITEX, which recently took place in Abuja. During the event, the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, led other stakeholders on a tour of agricultural machines, equipment, and other technological innovations. What technologies were on display, and how will the stakeholders partner to ensure that Nigeria's agricultural sector is transformed through these technologies and innovation? Answers to these questions are the focus of our next segment, Partnership for Development. Keep watching.
At the Africa Agric-Machine Equipment and Technology Expo AMITEX 2023 in Abuja, different agricultural machines such as tractors, threshers, and other equipment were exhibited for stakeholders and policymakers to make informed decisions. The Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, in company of other stakeholders, moved from one exhibition stand to another to see what is available and how it can benefit Nigeria's quest for food security. Addressing journalists at the end of the tour, the Honorable Minister expressed satisfaction with the influx of exhibitors of different technologies in the agricultural sector.
We are having more entrants. Before, when you look at tractor, it's only Massey Ferguson, John Deere, and then which other one? Those are the few ones. But now we are having, I've seen I've seen about 3 other new companies coming in. So that itself is a new, entry, and it's interesting because when there is competition, it forces down price, and farmers will not be able to afford it.
Senator Sabi Abdullahi assured Nigerian youths of a new dawn in the nation's agriculture sector as the federal government, in collaboration with other stakeholders, would make machineries available. Affordability of these technologies is one of the fundamental issues that must be addressed. Stakeholders bear their minds on how farmers can overcome this challenge.
Farmers should come together. We are actually in a situation whereby farmers want to be individuals and think they can make it. It's very difficult. In most countries of the world, farmer groups need to come together and farm as a cluster.
There's a need for us to form cooperatives. The second thing is we should have clusters of farmland for us to be able to beat the cost of what we're talking about. Now, it is after we do that that subsidy can now come in.
For the Managing Director of Nigeria Agricultural Insurance Corporation, Folashade Joseph, there is need for farmers to insure their machines and other agri-businesses against risk. She said the federal government has taken a first step towards easing the process for farmers.
The federal government has done very well. They have subsidized agriculture, that's in production. So for livestock, the farmer would pay only 2.5% of whatever they're insuring, the sum insured. And then for crops, it's for subsidized crops, it's 2%. But of course, when we talk about maybe on commercial basis, they pay the required premium.
Value addition is another area of agriculture that is technologically driven. The federal government is also supporting the training of farmers and processors through the IFAD Value Chain Development Program, IFAD VCDP. These array of products were produced by the IFAD VCDP, through which Nigerians are trained on how to add value to their agricultural produce.
Okay, like this combo bites now is made from cassava, beans, pepper. Like when you grind the beans that you want to do moi moi with it, you just add provitamin A cassava to it. When you add it, there is a machine they do use to press it and they'll fry it. There are different shapes from it.
The National Coordinator, IFAD Value Chain Development Program, Dr. Fatima Aliyu, sheds more light on the impact the federal government has made in the lives of rural farmers and processors through the collaboration with IFAD VCDP.
So it is not just IFAD. The Value Chain Development Program, as well as its sister, the Life ND, they are all supported by IFAD, but it is a loan that the federal government of Nigeria has taken from them. So it is a partnership, it is a collaboration. It is not solely IFAD, but it is Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. So these projects belong to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. So it is now the federal government of Nigeria that is investing in its rural smallholder farmers. For our farmers to move from subsistence farming to commercial farming. In fact, the objective of VCDP is to enhance on a sustainable basis the food security and incomes of smallholder farmers.
For the initiator and convener of the Africa Agric-Machine Equipment and Technology Expo Amitex 2023, Prince Olubenga Agbula, the event has recorded tremendous success. He highlighted the success of the event and the impact it would make thereafter.
The take-home of the participants is that they've seen, right? They've heard, right? Definitely they are going back home being empowered. Their capacity has increased because some of them, there are some things they don't know that they've got to know when they were here. So definitely when they get back home and they put those things into practice, definitely there's going to be a change. That is for a take-home for the participants. Then for us as a convenant, we have recorded a tremendous success. While I would say this is that it is not the exhibitors that we have in the maiden edition that we have this time around, right? Even though we have some constraint, right? But we can see a progression in what we are doing. And above all, the governments of this very dispensation has seriously bought into the program, and they are even ready to institutionalize it.
Indeed, mechanization at the level of production, processing or marketing of agriculture is the most reliable way of ensuring food security in the country. And like stakeholders' advice, synergy with other farmers and processors will surely lead to improved livelihood, sustainability, and food security for the nation. This is the much we can take on this episode. Keep a date with us same time, same station next week. Good night and God bless Nigeria.